Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you? They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. I don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember? The Armada sure could've used one of these back in the day. That thing wasn't always meant to be a weapon, but there's no denying it now. First step to learning the Calamity Cannon is knowing about the machinery overrides. Now, who would have taught a kid to do a thing like that? Once the kid gets that last shard from Zulf, it'll all be over. The Tazal terminals, all that's left of the Ura's civilization, and the last stop on his little journey. Mancer Observatory. Now there's a sneaky place, overlooking the Tazal terminals themselves. The Ura probably didn't know they were being watched from Mancer Observatory. It was the perfect spot to test something no one's meant to know about. Not a good idea to drop that thing. Only trouble was something about the place drove the windbags crazy. Best stand well clear of that impact. Hefty thing like that takes getting used to. Gotta point her in the right direction. Whatever gets in her way is in a world of hurt, but she ain't the fastest thing. When the windbags caused enough trouble, the observatory would shut down. The Mancers conducted their most secretive research far east of the city. You could cause a lot of collateral damage with her if you ain't careful. The more crowded it gets, the more trouble you could cause with a single shot. The Mancers, they knew everything, even if it cost them. Never thought I'd see that thing completed. Not in this life. Good thing I didn't throw away the manual. It's hard to sleep easy these days, what with everything that's happened. Zulf, very soon the kid's gonna have to face that man again, for the last time. It's all right. That story don't end well anyway. No matter what he's gonna face out there, it'll burn. Could use a little shut-eye, I suppose. The Calamity took everything from us. Might be it took even more from Zulf. Kid makes me nervous sometimes, strutting around with all those guns. What I wouldn't give for a good night's sleep. Zulf had difficulty telling me a story. Haven't heard it. I could understand why. Long reach and plenty of power. Now that's a scary combination. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anything gets past that cannon, those pistols can finish it quick. Kid's loaded down with some of Caelandia's finest firearms. If there's anything that blade can't split open, a cannon ought to do it. We fought with bows for centuries. Calamity cannons, not so much. Fill 'em with needles or blast 'em to bits. Tough call. The power of the Calamity ain't well understood, but a hammer sure is. They met on the worst day of Zulf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away. It wasn't the first time Zulf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him. He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tazal terminals, so he took to stealing from a Caelandian missionary living there. He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zulf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. When the missionary passed away, Zulf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Caelandia. Zulf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people. However, Zulf felt he could only do so much in the Tazal terminals. He needed Caelandia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zulf saw the rippling walls on the horizon. He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular, This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets. The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Celandian style. He celebrated with his friends long into the night, joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all. He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Celandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong. He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down. The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes. He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home, but when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky. And so Zolf returned to where he proposed in the Hanging Gardens, and there he stood, as if the gods would answer him. The kid's gonna be okay. As for that man, who knows? Take my word for it, don't ever drop one of those. Kid's got that contraption all figured out. If the power of the calamity is safe in anybody's hands, it's safe in his. A pinch of fairy dust, and it's all set. Looks like our little science project is all set. And that's everything. Mother knows he's paid his dues in that forge. Not much left at the observatory when the smoke clears. Well, that experiment was a rousing success. If only the Mancers could have seen the kid playing around with their favorite toy. I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right. Just needs to get that shard from Zolf and come on home. The calamity hit the Tazal terminals hardest of all. No telling where the kid is now. No chance anything survived. You know why Zolf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Taken by the calamity. Zolf must be there all alone, just waiting. You know what's funny? Well, all of us are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this. There's something I want you to understand. When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. This disease the Ura planted here will go away. Celandia will be whole again. Everything will be back to normal. Everyone will be all right. Problem is, we'll all be gone. Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop. Things will go back to the way they used to be. That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. You'll be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. All of life's little setbacks. Imagine if you could have another go at 'em. You follow me? No mistakes. Anyone you've ever hurt, everything you've ever done, you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you agree? Well, I guess there's nothing more to say. Who am I kidding? Look, there's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it. So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is, I don't know. You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's all right. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless Unless you wanted to stay here with us.